Welcome and welcome back to All Things Home on a Budget. Today we are going to be cooking up some ground beef recipes. If you're interested in seeing what I have chefed up, I suggest you keep on watching. Okay, so we have some ground beef here. It is 1.27 pounds here. I got at my local grocer. And we're going to do that. We're going to do just a small pot, not anything big. Got a can of diced tomatoes. And we're going to also use some tomato sauce here. We're going to use some tomato sauce as well. And we got some chicken broth. And I got my elbow noodles. And the vegetables that I'm going to cook, the raw vegetables, I have green bell pepper. So I just went ahead and showed you just how much I'm going to use. So you have an idea of what the actual size look like of the vegetables, how much vegetables I use. Okay, so I got 4 nice sized garlic cloves. And I have this bell pepper here and a white onion. And we're just going to go ahead and dice it up. I'm going to get my pan hot for the vegetables and everything. And yeah, we're going to jump on into it. So if you would like to see how this goulash American style turns out, a nice comfort meal for you and your family, that can make a big pot depending on how much of hamburger you have, depending on how many noodles you put in, and depending on how much tomatoes. And I like it really tomatoey, so I do have a second can, as you see peeping back there in that corner right there. Yeah, if I decide to put that in because I love my dishes to be tomatoey, okay, then that's what I'll do. But I will judge it because I'm not going to use a whole lot of the tomato sauce. I'm going to use a half a can of the tomato sauce, okay? All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to heat up just a very little bit of vegetable oil in the bottom of the pan so that we can sweat out the vegetables, okay? So that's what I'm going to let heat up, and then we're going to add the vegetables, okay? So y'all keep on watching. All right, got those onions and bell peppers down, and we are going to let this hang out and just kind of sweat out just a bit, and then we're going to go ahead and add the meat, okay? Y'all keep on watching. Now we're going to go ahead and add the garlic down in there. Let that sweat for just a few. Don't want it to burn. I'm turning my heat down on medium now. I don't want that garlic to burn, so I'm turning that heat down. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead now and drop that meat down in there. And you want to definitely get it mashed up. Really, really good. Chop it up. The best spoon for this is a wooden spoon, y'all. Use a wooden spoon. Alright, so I'm going to let this hang out. I'm going to chop it up some more, and then I'll come back and show you it nice and brown. Keep on watching, y'all. Okay, now here's what we're going to be using for our seasonings. We have some accent here, wakes up your food flavor. Morton's Nature's seasoning, some Clover Valley paprika, some soul food seasoning, and some chicken seasoning by Spice Supreme. One of my favorite seasonings, y'all. Really, really inexpensive seasoning. And soon I'm going to be coming and bringing you, showing you my mixture of my seasonings to make my own special house seasoning. Okay? All right, so stay tuned for that, y'all. That is coming up on the channel next. Okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and get these seasonings on in. Okay, nature seasoning. I like to season my meat, not just the actual dish after it comes together. A little paprika, a little accent, because I want my meat to have good flavor. So it will be easy. Chicken seasoning. It will be easy. It will be easy to season the dish at the end. Soul food seasoning. And yes, we're going to let this hang out and brown and allow these seasonings to just flow and cook through. And I'll be back with the brown meat. Keep on watching, y'all. Okay, we have it browned like we wanted. It's nice and chunked up. And we have the fat from the beef down in the bottom, and I'm not going to drain that. I want to keep that in there. And what I'm going to do is the tomato sauce. You can add marinara sauce, okay? I didn't have any marinara sauce, so I'm just adding tomato sauce here tonight, and I'm actually adding a half a can of it, okay? All right. And then I am adding that can of tomatoes. All right. All right. And I'm going to let this hang out. And I want to kind of see and judge, you know, just for a few minutes. Let this kind of hang out a bit. Maybe 5 minutes or so. Just to see if I'm going to add the other can of tomatoes. Because I told you I love it tomatoey, okay? All right. And I'm so grateful that my family loves tomatoes. Just not as much as I do, but they do love them. So I'm going to let that hang out and just kind of see, because I might add the other one, y'all. All right? Just hang out with me and keep on watching and see what comes of this great dish. Keep on watching, y'all. Okay, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and add this other can of tomatoes. That's what I'm going to do. All right. And we're going to let it hang out just for a few minutes. And then what I'm going to do is add a little bit more seasoning to it. Okay. Now I'm getting ready to season this up. When I come back, add some more my chicken stock and then season it so I can really get the flavor of what we are going for. Okay. All right. So y'all keep on watching. And I made sure that I turned the heat up to medium high now so I can get a nice good boil on these tomatoes before I add my chicken stock and my seasoning. Okay. All right, because once we add our chicken stock and we add our seasoning, we cannot go back and season when we put those noodles in. It's going to have to be seasoned the way it's supposed to be when we drop those noodles in. Okay? All right. Y'all keep on watching. Now we are going to go ahead now and add the chicken broth. And I'm going to use half of this. This is a 32 ounce. This is a quart. So I'm going to use about half of this. Yeah. About half of it, y'all. Alright. And we're going to bring this up to a boil and season. I'm going to go ahead and season it. And I'm going to use that paprika that we showed you. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of that paprika that I showed you. I'm going to add a little bit of the accent that I showed you and the nature seasoning. And only thing different I'm going to add is some Italian seasoning and just a little bit of sugar. Me, I like a little bit of sugar when it comes to my tomatoes, just to take off some of the tart, because we have so much tomatoes in here and tomato sauce. That's just my thing, my preference, y'all. And you don't have to do that, but definitely add your Italian seasoning. Okay, and I have just a little inexpensive one here by Chestnut Hill that you can pick up at your, I think that came from Family Dollar, but any type of Italian season that you have, just to kick it up a notch. Okay, and yeah, then I'm gonna come back after I add all these seasonings and make sure that you see it before we add the noodles. Okay, keep on watching, y'all. Okay, y'all, we got it at the raging boil that we want, so we can add the noodles. But make sure, as I stated earlier, make sure that it's seasoned the way you want it to be seasoned, because the noodles is going to take on the seasoning. You're not going to want to try to add seasoning after that. So just go ahead and get it where you want it. And the one thing about noodles is it's going to take on the seasoning. Okay, even when you just cook noodles by themselves, it's going to take on the seasoning that you already put in the pot, which is your salt. So this is how it's going to make sure it performs. And I am now going to add my noodles straight on in. And let's see how much I'm going to add. I add maybe about of that jar, a third of that jar, because you know sometimes you can go overboard with noodles now. Okay, but it's up to you on how much you want. I'm just going to pour just a tad bit more, just a tad. All right, so I would say probably a little less than half. Yeah. Okay, that's one of the reasons why I made sure I added more tomatoes. Okay, so we're gonna just let this hang out and just let it just cook, because we want to get those noodles done. Okay, so y'all keep on watching, because I gotta add something else. It's not over. It's not over. I have to add something else. Don't you want to know? All right, keep on watching. Okay, it is up to a nice raging boil, and we got these noodles going, y'all. You want to make sure that your noodles are done. No al dente noodles here, because there's nothing else going to cook from here. You're not going to go any further from here, but just going to add one more ingredient when the noodles are done. So let the noodles get all the way done like you like them, not al dente. Please don't do that to yourself or your family. Get them done, y'all. Okay? All right. Because when you do them al dente, you're going to take them to another level of heat and some more cooking time. So you want to make sure that they are done like you want them. And we have one more ingredient to go. So it's not quite time to add it. All right? So keep on watching. Keep on watching, y'all. Okay. I have turned the heat down. And I have a little bit left of this finely shredded Italian blend. And this is low moisture part skim mozzarella, hot smoked provolone, Parmesan, Asiago, Fontina, and Romana. It's just a little tiny bit of that in here, y'all. And I got this thick cut mozzarella moisture part skim milk. It's just a little bit of that in that one. And then I also have the same one, a bigger bag of that, a full bag. So I'm gonna add all of these cheeses here. Add whatever cheese you want to add. So that's that Italian blend. That is the mozzarella that I had left over. And then the full bag of mozzarella, I'm going to go ahead and not pour it all in, but have in. And listen, use whatever kind of cheese you want to use. That's what you do. Use whatever cheese you want to use. And I'm just going to give it a nice little stir to get it all up in there. All up in there. Okay? Yeah. Yep. And what's that is going to do? What that is going to do is just kind of blend and make it nice and cheesy. You could add just cheddar, okay? Just add cheddar, y'all. Whatever your cheeses that you like, that's what you add. This looks good. It looks divine. It looks delicious. And I have some fresh corn back here to go with it. I know y'all saw that. I know y'all saw that. Yeah. I got some fresh corn back there. So I will eventually plate and eat. So stay tuned for the final plating of this amazing goulash, American style. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching, stopping by, checking it out, whatever. Like this video if you like the video. And leave me a comment and tell me what it is that you like about the video. And make sure you subscribe. Subscribe, y'all. It doesn't cost you a thing over here. You don't have to add no money to this account. Just bless me by hitting the subscribe button. Do you want to be a blessing today? Well, go ahead and bless me by just subscribing. Okay? Listen, the ground is fertile over here. You don't know who you are blessing. And it doesn't matter who you are blessing. Just go ahead and hit the subscribe button, y'all. Thank you. Keep on watching for the finished product. For the finished plating, y'all. Keep on watching for the finished plating. All right, so everything is done, and we're going ahead and plate this baby. Yes. Oops. And you can definitely top this with your Parmesan cheese. Just whatever cheese you want to top it with, okay? And I got some corn on the cob. That's going to be on my side. And yes, y'all, this is it. Isn't that divine? Oh, look at that, y'all. Look at that. It is scrumptious. Yes, look at it, y'all. It is divine. Oh my goodness. Look at that. The tomatoes and the garlic. You can see the little pieces of garlic in there. Yep. Italian seasoning, all the seasonings. And it is going to be divine with the corn on the cobs. Don't miss out on these videos by not subscribing. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. You don't want to miss out, okay? All right. From scratch hamburger helper. Listen, you're not going to no longer want to buy that box stuff, okay? All right. So we're going to make us a good old cheesy cheeseburger hamburger helper, okay? All right. So if you're interested in seeing what I created, then keep on watching. All right, let's talk about the ingredients. We are going to be using some of these nicely chopped garlic right here, green bell pepper here, and red onions. Now, by all means, you can use some red bell pepper or yellow bell pepper, all three if you like. This is what I have on hand, so that's what I'm using. I got some sharp shredded cheese as well as some Mom. I have some Velveeta cheese packs, the hamburger meat, milk, as well as the macaroni noodles. All right. So these are all the ingredients, and what we're going to do is going over here to the stove. We're going to cut this nice big deep frying pan on, and I already have the pot of water boiling for my noodles. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is salt the water and add a little bit of cooking oil to the waters for the noodles, and that's some good old kosher sea salt. And I'm taking a little bit of vegetable oil just for the noodles so the noodles won't stick. And this is the only time you're going to be able to season the actual noodles, is while they're boiling in the water. All right. Now I'm going to take the hamburger meat. This is what's left in the package from making burgers the other night. You know, sometimes you got to cook smart, shop smart, get the largest so you can make 2 meals out of one. That's how I do for the party of 3. All right. So what I'm going to do here now is just kind of flatten this out, separate this meat so that we can get it browned. Okay. And then we will begin to go ahead and get the seasonings on it. So keep on watching. All right, we're going to be using this Morton's Nature Seasoning. I absolutely love this seasoning. I do not like to cook without it because this has to go in everything I cook. Everything I cook, okay? And so I'm giving it a generous amount because I like to taste my food now. Okay, I'm using some of this Goya Adobe seasoning here. And this is with pepper. They have the one that is without pepper. I have my accent right here. We're going to go ahead and put a few dashes of this in here. And I cannot remember the name of this brand, but this is from the Dollar Tree. This is from the Dollar General, and this is the salt-free seasoning that I'm using here. And it's kind of like Mrs. Dash. If you like Mrs. Dash, this is a cheaper version of Mrs. Dash. And this was $1 from the Dollar General. So I'm just going to break this meat up and allow the seasons to cook in that meat because we need the meat to be seasoned now. Okay, and we're going to let this brown and we'll move on to the next steps. So keep on watching. I don't know about y'all, but I just had to add those couple extra noodles. I do it every time. Most times I always cook entirely too much noodles. I just cannot help it. I'm the same way with rice. I'm the same way with grits. I just gotta go add something else. I just cannot help it, okay? But I did want to make sure that I had enough noodles to go with the meat, okay? So the meat is browning nicely. The noodles are at a nice raging boil like I want them to. Now, this is how I actually did the box hamburger helper. I never really hardly ever added the noodles to the actual meat and everything and let the noodles boil with it. Why? Because I didn't grow up eating hamburger helper. I didn't start eating hamburger helper till I met my husband. That was his thing. You know, he was like, "You'll never make hamburger helper." I was like, "I don't know how to cook it." I never tried it. We didn't grow up on it. But as I got grown, you know, one of my mom's girlfriends, she used to love to make it for her kids. And she would boil her noodles separate. One day I went by her house and she was boiling her noodles separate. And I was like, "Why you do it separately? I thought you were supposed to put it all together on the box." Well, lo and behold, that's how she did it, and that's how I started doing mine. All right, so I took that meat out of the pot, and in that same pan, the meat is all browned. I am adding about 3 tablespoons, maybe 4 tablespoons of butter here. I do believe it was maybe 3 or 4, I'm not sure. And I am going to get it melted down. And that same pan, I didn't wash the pan or anything. I wanted the little drippings that was left in there to stay in there. And now I'm just adding, the vegetables so that they can cook down just a little bit and get a little tender. As you see, the pasta is sitting there cooling off, ready to go. It's already drained. And we are going to let that those vegetables hang out a little bit, okay? So keep on watching. All right, so now that the ground beef is back down in the pan, I'm going to take these 2 Velveeta, the cheese spread, whatever you call this stuff, y'all. I'm just going to go ahead and get both of those packs down in there. This is going to help make it nice and creamy. Y'all know how Velveeta cheese does. And sometimes I don't like buying the whole big block, but I do like using this for the substitute of the big block. But by all means, use the big block. That's absolutely fine. And I'm going to take some of that sharp shredded cheese as well as the mild, because this is a cheesy cheeseburger helper, okay? And we are going to generously give it the cheese. Generously, baby, okay? And now I'm going to add some milk. I just eyeballed it. I really don't know how much milk I used. I just eyeballed it a bit. You know, I wanted it to be kind of covered, but not like it swimming around in it, but covered enough. And I am just mixing all of this together. Adding the noodles. They're cooked and they're not, you know, they're a little al dente because they're going to cook a little bit more in here, and you don't want them to be all mushy, okay? And then I'm going to also season this up a little bit more with some of these seasonings, okay? So keep on watching. Add as much cheese as you like, okay? Make sure that you do just that, all right? So what I'm going to do now is let this simmer a little bit. Everything can melt and come together and be nice and cheesy, and this is what it's looking like. It's looking like it's good, y'all. Oh yeah, look how cheesy that is. So if you like this recipe, and this idea and all the ingredients, and if you like hamburger helper, baby, thumbs the video up, leave me a comment and tell me what it is that you do like. And if this is your type of content, because I have a lot more cooking in store, then subscribe and hit the bell as well. Now it's time for the final reveal. All right, look at all the seasonings on the noodles, the meat. You can see it. I don't like eating food I can't see the seasonings, y'all. That's telling me it's going to be bland. But anyway, you can see the onions. You can see the bell pepper. You can see the garlic. Man, oh man, this was delicious. So you go ahead and you try it out, baby. You won't go back to that box stuff. Never, ever again. All right. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Bye-bye. Remember, Food Friday, every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See y'all next week.